Welcome to the Brain Scrub, a somewhat improvised approach to mental health. My name's Glenn Solers. Thanks for tuning into today's episode. It is February 21st at 1:26 p.m. where I live in British Columbia on Vancouver Island. There was a 5.1 magnitude earthquake that rocked my house and many others across British Columbia. And it is a stark reminder that we are on shaky ground in this world, and there's many things that can impact us, but we can't control a lot of it, and we just have to be with it. The president of Mexico said we must keep a level head. Claudia Sheinbaum said that. And this is what today's episode is about, is around the fact that we are in very strange times in this world, and caused primarily by a gentleman who came into power about a month ago. Isn't that funny? He came in a month ago, and today there was an earthquake in British Columbia, because I know we are a bit worried in Canada, as are other parts of the world. Woohoo, we won the Four Nations hockey tournament yesterday against the United States. So that's a big win for us. And all these little wins make a huge difference. It's nice to know you're winning sometimes, where I think a lot of us feel like we're losing. And I also noticed that there's more people getting sick. In fact, I got sick. I'm starting to get over it now. I didn't know I was sick until about a week ago, and then it hit me and I was losing my voice, and I'm still recovering from that. And it's not just me. There's other people out there that are getting sick. And I don't know if it has to do with what's going on in this world, but again, I normally don't get sick. I'm a very healthy person, and bang, it hit me. And if you consider stress, and stress is linked to illness, there is definitely a correlation between the two. And what causes stress made me think about Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Now, for those of you who do not know Maslow's hierarchy of needs, I know there's some controversy over it, whether it's real or not. However, it does make sense. And if I go through the needs in his hierarchy, it is quite obvious to me that no wonder we're not feeling that great, because our needs are being rocked. It's kind of like we're in a global earthquake and we're on unstable ground. We're not sure what's going to happen. We're living in a bit of a mystery. We're just dealing with things as they come by. And I think there's a lot of panic going on as well, based on speculation, which is okay to speculate and think, I wonder what could happen and how we're going to prepare for it. However, the importance of sometimes saying, you know what, maybe we just need to go with the flow. And if something happens, we'll deal with it. We'll figure it out, as we always have in this world. We will figure things out once it happens. And I'm sure we've all been through situations like that, where we've received some news, or a relationship broke down, or something that really took us by surprise, and we figure it out. We somehow get through it and deal with it. And that's why, again, I like what Sheinbaum said, is we need to keep a level head. Trump is doing what Trump does best, and that's being loud, obnoxious, and not so smart. And he has a population that's following him, that believe in him, but the numbers are shifting. People are starting to get it. They're starting to realize that he's a bit of a problem, and that it, unfortunately, is going to go on probably for a while. Thank you, Americans, for bringing him into power. And wow, is he shaking up this world? And I guess and I mentioned this in my last episode, it's probably in some good ways as well, because we're starting to learn things about what we need to do in terms of being self-sufficient. Like Europe, spend money on defense. Here in Canada, we need to do the same thing. But also, we're a peace-loving nation, so we're not out there trying to attack other countries, and therefore need to build up our defense mechanism. Canada doesn't really have any enemies, other than clearly one to the south of us that's emerging recently. Now, if I look at Maslow's hierarchy of needs, what it states is that we all need certain things. in life to live a happy and content life. And interestingly enough, a video popped up for me today where it said happiness is primarily due to, and this gentleman teaches at Harvard University, and he teaches a course on happiness to business people, that you need to have faith in something. Like, it's not just you, it's the world. There's things around us. So that could be by means of religion, by looking at the universe, whatever it might be, but having faith in something, having community, really important. Friends and family. And he was mentioning that there's a lot of families where you don't talk to certain relatives. Well, that's not good. That doesn't lead to happiness, and that can lead to discontentment, and it has a ripple effect on your kids and your kids' kids. And what he was also mentioning is that many younger couples are not bothering having kids anymore. So they're not seeing the value of families. And I'm sure there's so many other factors that go into it, because really where I live, it's very unaffordable, and kids are not cheap. The importance of also having meaningful work, that you're serving somebody else, that you're providing an act of service, goes a long way. For me, when I think about the work I do and this podcast, it's there as an act of service to give back, to share my story, in hopes that people will listen and say, you know what, that's some really good advice, Glenn. Thanks for sharing. I'm going to try that out. Now, there's not much we can do about my topic today other than to consider things in your life that are stressing you out, what's important, and what do you have control over. And to start letting go of certain things because we don't necessarily have control over those things. And this relates to Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And it again reminded me of, no wonder we're not feeling great. No wonder we might be getting sick. And it's bound to get worse, folks, for especially, I think, Americans, that this eventually everybody's going to look like JFK Jr., the guy who's running the health situation in the United States. He is not the epitome of health. He looks like a raisin and has a super raspy voice. And what on earth is he doing managing healthcare is beyond me. But maybe that's the future of us. We're all going to look like that with everything that's going on. So the foundational need is psychological needs. That's at the base of Maslow's hierarchy, which is we need food, we need water, we need shelter. We need to have a nest, essentially, something that protects us. Our home, the fact that we can get food, and there's many in this world that are not getting the food that they need, or getting the medication or whatever it is, and the stopping of funding for some of these nations is having an impact on those nations, where their global support networks no longer there to provide for them, and being wealthy nations. My tax dollars, your tax dollars, part of it as a gift and as a supporting this world as a whole, because we're not in this alone. It makes sense that we're helping those countries that need certain things, because they don't necessarily have the infrastructure, nor the minerals, the resources, whatever it might be, to fund this. So food cost is something that Trump is really going after, and that's a foundational need. He managed to get a whole bunch of people to vote for him because he was going to lower the price of food, and the opposite's kind of happening right now. Now, of course, there's the virus with chicken, so no wonder eggs are not available. However, he is messing with our needs. Our food prices could go up due to tariffs. So it's no wonder we're stressed. High mortgages, everything we own, our families, and then the money that I only have a certain amount to spend on food. And this individual is creating some uncertainty and is going to make my life likely more difficult by implementing tariffs and creating a sense of lack of security, and the lack of investment in terms of climate change and reducing our impact is also going to have an impact on scarcity of food. And more regions are struggling with growing foods, having arable land. Is that what it's called? I think it's arable land. And that's a challenge. So again, one government, one administration is impacting these needs that we have. There's also safety needs. Safety needs are security, stability, freedom from fear. Whoa, this is the biggest one that is impacting everything else. And Donald Trump has promoted himself as somebody who's going to remove the fear because we're all going to be secure in the United States of America. But the reverse is happening. People are fearful of others. There's greater divide in the United States. There's greater fear over the United States. What's this individual capable of? Building stronger ties with Russia and other countries that we've said, what they're doing is not right. The threat of World War III is amongst us. Like, all these things are happening, and he is creating a state of fear. And fear is one of the leading causes of anxiety. It is not good what's happening. We're losing our sense of freedom as a nation here in Canada. We're going to take you over, Canada. Now, I would say that he's probably just doing that to get attention. That's probably why he's doing it. It's not going to happen, but he likes attention. He wants people to focus in on him. And if you can imagine anybody who wants attention, they're going to go out there and be the bully, be the loudest person, spread mistruths, but they're getting the attention, which they didn't get the attention from his dad. And his tantrums that he pulls are his inner child coming out and saying, screw you, focus on me. Now that I have your attention, do what I want. This, again, highlights this lack of safety that we feel, and which leads to the next one, and that is a need to belong socially, that we have friendships, there's intimacy, there's acceptance, and I don't need to say a lot about that. We know that this is definitely not happening. The global community is breaking apart. The whole fact that, especially if you're a minority, it cannot be great times right now, because we've done a lot of work in the world to create a sense of belonging for everybody. Because you know what? We're all a human being. It doesn't matter the color of our skin. We all have a heart, lungs, organs, blood that flows through us. And we all want essentially the same thing, is that is to have a content and peaceful life. And sadly, this administration's destroying a lot of that and putting themselves before everybody else in the world out there, which is completely ridiculous. This self-centered behavior is a huge impact to our social needs. We have esteem needs, and these are needs of respect me, recognize me, my status, and he is impacting that many of us don't feel respected. We are being told lies. It's hard to respect an individual that lies. We are being told that we're the problem. You're the issue. We're all good. You're all bad. And people who do this are generally sociopaths or psychopaths, that they can do no wrong. Everybody else is the problem. Lack of self-awareness there. So no wonder we're feeling a bit insecure. The last one is self-actualization. And that is the need to achieve one's full potential, to be creative. And I think for me in my career, I've done that. I am very creative, and now I'm going into a new phase in my life where I'll exercise more creativity. I'll have more time to do these kind of things as I slowly get into retirement. But what he's taking away is the opportunity for other countries out there to self-actualize. And maybe he's creating a situation where countries can self-actualize because they've been relying too much on the United States. So that just came up to me now as I was saying that. But I think this goes both ways. Is, yes, we've created this global world, but the message is loud and clear that we as independent countries need to really take care of ourselves, which again is sad because we've created a global community and global trade where we rely on each other, where we follow the rules of economics, and we've been built on that. And now we have to start taking care of ourselves. Now, mind you, really, he's only supposed to be in power for 4 years, and things may go back to normal after this. So I guess my message through all this sharing is to stop watching news sometimes, to focus on your love, your happiness, your community, your friends. Laugh things off a bit. Don't take things so seriously. It is clear to me that Donald Trump is a bit of a joker in how he talks to people and what he says in the media sometimes. Maybe this is just all a joke. Now, weird that a politician would be doing that, but he's clearly not a politician. He's anti-government. And he's an entertainer. And maybe it's just all a show, a mixture of comedy, drama, thrill, horror, all the genres combined into one, and it can get quite addicting. Folks, let's breathe. Let's relax. This too shall pass. And have fun. Make the most out of life. Don't let one individual ruin it for us. Take care. Have a great day. All the best. Thanks for listening.